Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to be sure the system's working. Can you all hear me in the last row? Wonderful. Good morning. My name is Katherine Bodenbender, and I am one of 4 children of Katherine, also known as Katie, and Henry Bodenbender. You're seeing an early picture of our parents, taken about the time of the story I will be sharing, as well as a more recent picture of our mother. It is a pleasure, honor, and privilege for me to share an echo from the past with you about how our mother Katie, as a newcomer to America, led the way for our family becoming members of Trinity Lutheran Church. As Trinity Lutheran Church is celebrating its 100th year as a congregation, our mother, Mrs. Katherine Katie Bodenbender, is celebrating her 107th year of life. Mother spent the first 25 years of her life in her hometown of Marburg, Germany. In 1930, in her 25th year, Mother came to America and settled in Moline, Illinois. Moline was Mother's destination because our father, Henry Bodenbender, was waiting for her. He had come to America the previous year. Our parents met in Germany shortly before our father's embarkation for America. Prior to coming to America, Mother took classes to learn the English language. And since she was employed by a German countess who had been born and raised in England, she received assistance and encouragement in those language lessons. Therefore, when Mother arrived here, she already knew some English. In the first week following her arrival, wanting to be employed as soon as possible, Mother read the job ads in the local newspaper. She responded to a box number address provided in the advertisement for a job cooking in a Moline home. Mother got the job in the home of Mr. and Mrs. Charles Dill Wyman. Mr. Wyman was the president of German Company, and the home was overlooked, now known as the German Wyman House. Mother and later our father too worked for the Wyman family for approximately 8 years until they established themselves in a grocery business. Our parents purchased a small neighborhood grocery store on the corner of 10th Street and 13th Avenue in Moline that our mother ran. Then in 1938, they established Katie's grocery store on 7th Street and 27th Avenue in Moline. Our parents worked together in this business while raising a family of 4 children on site in the house behind the grocery store. Both of our parents were born into Christian families and worshiped in the Lutheran Church in Germany. Finding a church home in America became a priority after settling here. The first church home in this country for our parents was Emmanuel Lutheran Church in Rock Island, where they were married. Emmanuel Lutheran Church at that time had a German-speaking pastor and German language church services. It was during Mother's tenure with the Wymans that Mother met Mrs. Frida Pfeiffer, who was a personal maid to Mrs. Wyman. Mrs. Wyman was an aunt to Bill Meagan. Bill Meagan's mother and Frida Pfeiffer were sisters. In later years, Mr. Meagan was a well-known member of Trinity Lutheran Church. He served the church in various capacities. We remember him mostly as head usher for many years. Our mother observed that Mrs. Pfeiffer always left the Wyman home every Sunday morning, all dressed up. Mother thought she was probably going to church, so she asked Mrs. Pfeiffer where she went to church on Sunday mornings. Mother thought it must be close by because Mrs. Pfeiffer was always walking away from the residence. Mother learned that Mrs. Pfeiffer was going to Trinity Lutheran Church. Mrs. Pfeiffer explained that the church was within walking distance, and she described the route that she took each week. Since our parents did not have an automobile, the idea of attending a Lutheran church that was within walking distance was very appealing. Thus, through Mrs. Pfeiffer's example and explanations, our parents subsequently became members of the Trinity Lutheran Church. Our parents brought their children, Reinhardt, Katherine, Arthur, and Andrew, to Trinity Lutheran Church as babies. All were baptized, attended Sunday school weekly, some attended the mission band and Luther League, and all were confirmed at Trinity. Our mother, Arthur, and I are still members. Our father died in 1977. Reinhardt lives in Virginia, and Andrew lives in British Columbia, Canada. During the time our mother ran the little grocery store on the corner of 10th Street and 13th Avenue, our father was still employed by the Wymans as Mr. Wyman's personal valet. Our parents and the two children in our family at that time, Reinhardt and Katherine, continued to live in an apartment over the carriage house at Overhead. Mother was in the store every day of the week, meeting the grocery needs of the people in the neighborhood. Our oldest brother started Sunday school during the time Mother was in the 10th Street store. In sending Reinhardt off to Sunday school from the store, Mother watched Reinhardt walking down the street to Trinity from the back door of the store from the time he left her hands until he arrived at the church. When our parents moved to their 7th Street store and home, we children took the bus to Sunday school. The bus stop was 1 block north of our home. We got off the bus at 15th Street and 13th Avenue, across from what was then known as Monty's store. After Sunday school, we waited at Monty's store to take the bus home again. The Reverend Walter Tilburg was the pastor at Trinity Lutheran Church at the time our parents joined the church. Our parents had a very warm relationship with Pastor Tilburg that extended to visits by Pastor Tilburg to them in our home. Pastor Tilburg would sit down with our parents at the kitchen table and visit. Today, Mother is not able to attend Trinity Lutheran Church, but the church comes to Mother. For many years, Pastor Christian Meyer, former visitation pastor at Trinity, visited Mother faithfully every month to provide communion and spiritual support and refreshment. Mrs. Albina Hansen, a member of the Befrienders program, is a faithful friend and supporter who visits and brings communion to Mother every month. Pastors Laura Copenhagen, Larry Conway, and John Leaf have also visited Mother and brought communion. Members of the member care team send cards throughout the year to let Mother know of their care and prayer for her. And the youth of the church remember Mother with notes and letters, and they have also come to sing Christmas carols. Mother and her family want to let you, our Trinity family, know that we appreciate and thank you for your love, prayers, and support. In addition to the spiritual support that Mother receives from Trinity Lutheran Church and her own family, Mother is sustained daily by the scriptures, hymns, portions of Luther's small catechism, and prayers she memorized as a young child growing up in Germany. Mother has often told us that as she looks back over her long, busy